Good day, students. Um, I'm your tutor for English Module 4, and my name is Mr. Ebenezer Kalola. My details are there on the screen, my cell phone number and my email address. So guys, feel free to contact me anytime from 8 until 5. And guys, when you contact me, please, if you're going to write to me an email, in the subject line, please indicate that you are a student at IOL and you are contact me regarding which module. So guys, welcome to the subject English 4. In this module, you will have the opportunity to acquaint yourself with the further features and structure of the English language. So upon completion of this module, you should be able to discuss elements of and perspective on literature. You should be able to explain and analyze features of novels and drama. You should be able to analyze and teach poetry. You should also be able to explain categories and criteria of visual literacy. You will also be expected to study aspects of teaching methodology throughout the module. So for assessment in this module, you're going to be required to write one assignment of 150 marks, and a pass mark of 50% is required in the assignment for you to get admission to the examination. The examination paper will have the same format as the assignment. It will count for 150 marks and is 3-hour duration. And a final pass mark of 50% is required. 60% of the written examination plus 40% of the assignment. So in this PowerPoint presentation, you're going to cover 3 units. Unit 1, on elements of and perspective of literature. Unit 2, the features of novels and drama. Unit 3, the analysis of and teaching of poetry. So before we begin our presentation, guys, I just want to highlight one thing, guys. I'm not going to go into details, but students, before you answer your question, any question in an assignment or in an examination, please look out for the keywords that are used in the exam in that question, because these keywords that are used in the questioning of in the question when it comes in the assignment and examination, they guide you on what is expected of you. So you must be able to know what is to contrast, what is to define, and what is to describe. You must also be able to know what is required of you when they say you must discuss, you must distinguish, you must explain, you must list, or you must outline. It is very important, guys, because if you're asked to discuss and then you list, what happens, guys? You lose marks. So you must be able to identify these keywords so that they can guide you on what is expected of you when you're answering questions. Okay, so the first aspect we're going to look at is what we call literary device. So we say to successfully interpret and analyze literary text, you first need to have a solid foundation in literary terms and their definition. We have a lot of literary device in the English language. So in this tutorial, we help you get familiar with most commonly used literary devices in prose and poetry. We give you a clear definition of each of those things we discussed along with examples. So we say literary devices refer to the typical structure used by writers in their works to convey his or her message in a simple manner to the readers. So when they're employed properly, the different literary devices help readers to appreciate, interpret, and analyze a literary work. So literary devices are techniques that writers use to create special and pointed effects in their writing, to convey information, or to help readers understand their writing on a deeper level. So you must be able to identify a different literary device being used, so that you can be able to give a motivation for a writer's choices. So when it comes to example of literary device, we have onomatopoeia, we have alliteration, we have assonance, we also have imagery, we also have oxymoron, and so on. So guys, you must be able to identify and define those literary devices. They are highlighted in your study guide. Go to them and read them and understand them. So moving on, we're also going to discuss on the difficulties faced by teachers and learners when dealing with literary text. So we have what we call text selection. One of the difficulties faced by teachers and learners when dealing with literary text is text selection. So we say texts need to be chosen that have relevance and interest to learners. So for you to overcome text selection, you need to choose a text that has relevance and it is interest to the learners. Another difficulty we have is linguistic difficulties. So when you're going to choose a text, your text needs to be appropriate to the level of the student's comprehension. You look at what grade are you teaching, and then you have the length. So we say shorter text may be easier to use within the class time available, but longer text might provide more contextual details and development of a character and plot. So here, guys, you must be very cautious when you're going to choose a text. Another thing, difficulty faced is what you call cultural difficulties. So we say text should not be so culturally dense that outsiders feel excluded from understanding essential meaning. Remember, guys, that when you're going to become a teacher, you're going to teach students from different cultural backgrounds. So you must be considerate when you're going to choose your text, that whatever text you're going to choose, it is not going to eliminate students from a certain culture. And it must also be cultural appropriacy. Learners should not be offended by textual content. So we have different ways a teacher can stimulate learners' interest in reading. The first one is teachers should provide stimulating reading materials to the learners. They should encourage learners to bring reading material to class. Teachers must set aside and keep specific reading times. Teachers must allow for reading aloud and encourage as well as silent reading. Teachers must pose interesting and stimulating questions about the reading material. And teachers must also use techniques for presenting poetry and prose as part of your reading teaching technique. The teacher must also be able to make the classroom more interesting with pictures and reading materials that interest the learners. The teachers must read to their classroom, and before reading a new, allowing the learners to start a new book, the teacher must ask questions about the story. Learners must be prepared to read a specific number of reading material per year or per term. You must also require learners to make a summary about the reading materials that they have read and to present to the class. The teacher must also encourage learners to be critical about what they have read. Moving on, when it comes to the Nambian literature, we have some key features and themes that are found in the Nambian literature since independence. After Nambian independence, if you read most books or you read poems, you will find that these books are all aligned to certain themes. These themes are either exile, apartheid, bitterness, disappointment, hope for a better future after independence, social issues that the country faced after independence, such as drug abuse, unemployment, and so on. We also have traditional tales, short stories, novels for school children, disillusionment. This one refers to the people that came back from exile. Most of these people were going through disillusionment and so on. The Nambian literature also focus on issues of gender inequality. So, in an examination assignment, you may be asked to explain to explain one or two of these themes, and see and show how it has formed Nambian literature since independence. So let's look at the benefits of utilizing literature in English language teaching. So when we use literature in English language teaching, what happens? It provides opportunity for multi-sensory classroom experience. It appeals to learners with different learning styles. This can be supplemented to enhance the richness of the input the students receive. And we also say literary text or literature offer a rich source of linguistic input. It also literature also helps learners practice all four language skills and grammatical structures and new vocabulary. English language teaching using literature helps learners develop understanding of cultures, awareness of differences, and develop tolerance and understanding. It also covers universal themes such as love, sadness, gender issues, social issues, and so on. It also has a representational language of literary text that involves the learner and engages their emotion. It engages their cognitive faculties. Literature also works to help learners use their imagination. It also enhances empathy amongst learners toward others. It grants learners an opportunity to learn literary devices. Moving on, we're also going to highlight the 7 steps that I've come up with when you're going to analyze a poem. It is very important that you know how to analyze a poem, because in the examination or in the assignment, you will be asked to analyze a poem. Or when you become an English teacher, you are going to teach your learners on how to analyze a poem. So the first step is you must read the poem and take notes. Just read the poem and you must have your notebook there, and then you must just take notes. And then the second step, you must identify the title hints of the poem. When reading the title of that poem, what does it tells you? And then step 3, you must find the literal meaning in the poem. What are the literal meaning in the poem that align with the title of the poem? Step 4, you must identify the narrator, the characters, and the setting of the poem. Who is the narrator of this poem? Is it the author, or is it from a third person? And who are the characters? And what is the setting of the poem? You must also, step 5, you must look at the structure of the poem. Step 6, you must make a summary of all the things that you have noted down. And then step 7, you must identify the literary device used in the poem. So guys, it is very important to know that you must know all your literary device, such as imagery, assonance, alliteration, onomatopoeia, oxymoron, and so on. And then step 8, you must identify the theme of the poem. Once you have gone through all these steps, then you write down your analysis of your poem. So with that, guys, we have come to the end of our presentation. Have a lovely day, guys, and feel free to contact me from 8 until 5. My contact details are there on the screen. Goodbye.